Welcome everybody to the regular monthly meeting of the town of Fairfield for Monday, February 28th, 2022. Could the town clerk, Betsy Brown, take the roll call, please?
Is there an announcement regarding the vacancy in District 1?
Yes, there is, Madam Clerk.
Yes.
This is Pam Iacono, District 8. I'm pleased to announce that Marty Fury has joined us as a representative in District 1.
Thank you. Again, welcome. We welcomed her last week at our committee meetings.
Ed Bateson? Melissa Longo?
Here. Sorry, here.
Marty Fury?
Here.
Amy Ruggiero?
Here.
Karen McCormick?
Here.
Cindy Parham?
Here.
Al Schwartz?
Here.
Jeff Steele?
Here.
Alex Durrell?
Here.
Jeff Galdenzi?
Here.
Tom Lambert?
Here.
Sharon Pastilli?
Here.
Laura Carson?
Here.
Alice Kelly?
Here.
Marcy Spalier?
Here.
Liz Esma?
Here.
Will Diaz?
Here.
Josh Garskoff?
Here.
Joe Siebert?
Here.
Jay Wolk?
Here.
Steve Barretts?
Here.
Hannah Gale? Andy Graceffa?
Here.
Lisa Havey?
Present.
John Kuhn? Mark McDermott?
Here.
Jill Vergara?
Here.
Karen Wackerman?
Here.
Hank Ferentz? Pamela Iacono?
Here.
Christine Messina?
Here.
Pete Tallman?
Here.
Christine Brown?
Here.
Drew Georgiadis?
Here.
Margaret Horton?
Here.
Kelly Cinto?
Here.
Ken Astorita?
Here.
Peter Britton? Frank Patisse? Story Tolman?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy.
Betsy, John Kuhn is here.
Thank you.
Sorry for being late.
Okay, after the pledge, I'd like to stay standing for a moment of silence for the people of Ukraine and what they're going through at this terrible time in history. So we'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Item number 2 is to hear an address on the state of the town by the First Select Woman. Madam First Select Woman, are you here?
Yes.
And ready to go.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
You're welcome. Floor is yours.
Good evening, members of the RTM and fellow Fairfielders. I am honored to stand before you this evening as your first select woman to deliver my 3rd town address. Upon reflection, when preparing to write this address, it occurred to me that I actually provide a state of the town twice a month to the residents through my newsletter. I provide updates on new initiatives, town budget updates, and I recognize various departments. I also share positive community news. At the end of the year, I also send out a year in review, highlighting and commending the many accomplishments of our men and women who work for our town in service to our community. Instead of reiterating the accomplishments and work we have been doing over this past year in town, I want to focus tonight to be on Fairfield's future. We are coming out of our second year of a global pandemic, and I am proud of how hard we have worked together as a community. Vaccination and treatments are now widely available, and the movement to mask choice in our schools started today. While COVID will not disappear for a while, it is a relief to know that we can now treat it similarly to the flu or another virus. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge and thank again the dedication and hard work of our emergency management team, our health department, and nurses for guiding our town through this difficult and tumultuous time. Fairfield is so lucky to have department heads who are leaders in their field, who are willing to adapt to new obstacles and often set an example for other towns. It is an honor to work with these fine people in service of our residents and businesses every single day. With 7 new department heads hired just last year, a new police chief sworn and into office at the end of 2020, there has been a great deal of change. Change is often difficult, and usually the first reaction is resistance. But change is necessary for progress. I came into Town Hall after the largest public corruption scandal in our town's history was uncovered. And my goal from the start was to first and foremost restore the public trust, hire new talent, and reorganize town government, implement new protocols, and clean up the physical mess that was left at the fill pile and at many sites throughout our town. We have made significant progress in those efforts, and despite the time-consuming and regulatory bureaucracy. We have cleaned up a large majority of the contaminated sites around town. We are making progress on the fill pile itself, and this year, we will tackle the big question of FEMA violations and remediation at Penfield Pavilion. Unfortunately, millions of tax dollars will be needed to clean up the mess. However, I continue my pledge to handle this situation the right way, fully complying with the law and the regulatory agencies that were ignored in the past. Government transparency and public accessibility to participate are important cornerstones of good government. I receive overwhelmingly positive feedback from residents that my newsletter has kept them more informed than they have ever been before. And in my efforts to streamline government, I have held several joint meetings with all 3 boards on major issues impacting our town, and I will continue to do them in the future. Transparency and accessibility through online meetings made necessary by the pandemic are one of the few positives that will continue. We have, at a minimum, call-in lines, so members of the public can at least listen from the comfort of their own homes to any public meeting as it is actually happening. Through funds made possible through the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, our meeting rooms will feature technology to support hybrid participation by board members, presenters, and members of the public alike. Never in the history of Fairfield has government been more open and accessible. In my proposed FY23 budget, which was approved by the Board of Selectmen earlier today, we continue to reorganize the town government, modernizing town government and services, identifying inefficiencies, and restructuring departments to increase accountability and productivity will continue to be my priorities for the future. We have eliminated positions that are no longer relevant and have created new positions that bolster the department so that they can better meet the needs of our changing community. I continue to receive a large amount of feedback from our residents by phone, email, or even just out and about in town. I have taken all of that input and proposed a budget that is responsive to the needs of our residents, businesses, and does so with less than a 1% tax increase on the mill rate. My proposed budget continues to maintain strong investment in Fairfield's public schools, fully funds our long-term liabilities, and will maintain our long-standing AAA bond rating. I want to thank the members of the Board of Finance, that served on the Senior and Disabled Tax Relief Committee, and both the Board of Finance and the RTM for approving one of the most expansive senior and disabled tax relief programs in our state. Included in this budget, the tax relief program helps to give back to those residents in need and those that helped build the foundation for Fairfield's next generation. I am proud of the work my administration has done with the fortitude to make sorely needed and long overdue structural changes. My budget proposal also addresses the diverse needs of our community while being mindful of the town's responsibility to its taxpayers. I sincerely hope the Board of Finance and Representative Town Meeting will support my continued efforts to move our town forward. Fairfield's budget process is a long one, which goes until May 5th, when the Board of Finance sets the mill rate. I will continue to provide updates on our budget process, and I welcome our residents' feedback. Despite the challenges the pandemic has brought our economy over the last 2 years, I believe that Fairfield has a bright future ahead. It is truly exciting to see the revitalized community theater downtown, a project that shows how partnerships between private business and not-for-profits can be successful. The town is so grateful to Sacred Heart University and the Klee Band properties for restoring this treasured landmark into a beautiful and inviting destination that enhances our thriving downtown. Sacred Heart University's $70 million investment in a premier hockey and skating arena will be a new destination in and itself and will provide valuable ice time to our youth, which is sorely needed in town. Fairfield University has also made significant investments in upgrading its on-campus facilities with construction underway to replace the former Alumni Hall with a 3,500-seat convention hall and arena, projected to open in November of this year. The university's bookstore just celebrated its 10-year anniversary downtown and opened at a time when so many bookstores were closing. The university is also beginning construction on new townhouses to meet its student population needs, and both universities provide an extraordinary benefit to our town and local businesses. This year, we will continue our investment in infrastructure projects, and thanks to funding through the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, we will finally begin to address and mitigate the flooding related to the Rooster River. This flooding has caused extreme hardship to many families that live in this flood-prone area. Currently, we are in the permitting process of this long overdue project and hope to begin construction on phase 1 this spring. Also included in the ARPA funds is a significant investment in paving and sidewalk repair, which is very helpful after engaging a professional firm that provided the town with an independent paving analysis. All 285 miles of town roads were examined and scientifically rated by this firm. I am happy to report that we finally have a road paving plan that maps out a clear pathway to achieving immediate road improvements, as well as assists us with a blueprint for investments necessary to maintain our roads into the future. Improving pedestrian safety is a top priority for me, and we have already begun our work addressing critical areas of need. The ARPA funds are going toward the Southport Connectivity Project on the Post Road, and the Four Corners Project in Strathfield will be finalized, providing a pedestrian-friendly and beautiful streetscape in the commercial center in the Strathfield area of town. The grant-funded Post Road Circle safety study that will fix that heavily traveled intersection is almost complete. Pedestrian improvements in the nearby Grasmere neighborhood are expected to begin construction later this year. We are also using ARPA funds toward infrastructure improvements for our playgrounds, our aging playgrounds throughout our town. And several are already complete and more are scheduled to be finished this year. The formation of the Parks and Recreation Master Plan is currently underway, and this study will provide the framework necessary to plan and invest in Fairfield recreational activities. I don't think it would be a surprise to anyone when I say residents would like to see a dog park, and they have also made it clear they would like more pickleball courts. ARPA funds provided through a grant to the Fairfield Theater Company will also help them assemble a new outdoor stage intended to host more free community concerts. Our Economic Development Department, in partnership with the Park and Recreation and my office, are working to come up with some new exciting events for residents to enhance our existing programs. After the last 2 years, I think we can all agree we need to come together more as a community and have some fun while supporting our local economy. This year, I am also assembling a bipartisan working group with representation from town boards and the Education Administration to examine capital needs in our town and schools, to put together a comprehensive 5-year plan that residents and town boards can have a better understanding where Fairfield is going and investing in the future. While the town has a long list of infrastructure needs, our sewer system needs significant funding, specifically the East Trunk Sewer Replacement Project, which is projected to be upwards of $10 million, a project necessary to support development at the Metro Center and the eastern half of our town. At the same time, our senior center is aging. Old Town Hall is in need of major repairs, and our recently completed life safety report shows significant deficiencies on the Town Hall campus that need to be addressed. The school district also has many capital projects they would like to fund. Our town has many competing needs, and I am looking to institute a bonding cap while we work through putting together a 5-year plan to prioritize those needs in order to protect our town's fiscal health. It is with great pride I announce the Fairfield County's Regional Dispatch Center, also known as the ECC, is opening on Sacred Heart University's campus as part of another innovative partnership. This first regional ECC is in the state as the state consolidates with Fairfield and Westport's emergency communication centers. Residents from both communities will see increased levels of service and a reduction in the time for call processing when every single minute counts during an emergency, and improved management on both internal and field resources. Once fully operational and successful, we hope to welcome more towns into the regional center that will further help reduce the operating costs into the future. After a 20-year stalled development at the Fairfield Metro Train Center, I am very energized for the pending sale of this site to a new developer. Plans have been approved to move this long-awaited project forward with a mixed-use, transit-orientated development that includes residential units and a sorely needed hotel, commercial office, and retail space. I am excited by the conversations that I have had with the new developer about connecting the Metro Center corridor to our downtown. The developer has indicated his intent to start construction on the first building later this year. The town is also working with the state to update the tri-party agreement and to have it finalized as soon as possible. Fairfield has been waiting a really long time for this site to be developed, and I look forward to seeing shovels in the ground. We are in ongoing discussions with the owner of the former Exide battery site and support their efforts to redevelop that most important area on the Post Road. While the economy under COVID has made it very difficult, we are seeing signs our economy is breaking through the haze of the last 2 years. While our commercial tax base has grown, we must continue to work to enhance smart growth in targeted areas, which will help lessen the burden on our residential taxpayers. Fairfield continues to have strong demographics that make Fairfield attractive for new business investment to take hold as the overall business climate improves. I am excited to see the Plan of Conservation and Development, which is underway along with our zoning review regulations, which are both critical to the future development in town. An updated POCD is important to the town's business investment and attraction efforts. Our new conservation director is also working to revise our inland wetland maps and change the fee structure to make it more fair for our residents. The Affordable Housing Committee began its work this past year on updating the town's affordable housing plan in advance of the June 2022 state statutory deadline. Since the last plan was adopted in 2014, the town's affordable housing list grew by 150 new units and closed the gap within 45 points of the 433 points needed to qualify for a temporary moratorium under the 8-30G statute. The town on its own successfully acquired parcels for new affordable housing this year, and my administration is working diligently on new and creative ways to build our own affordable housing to help reach a moratorium as quickly as possible. The town's long-awaited online permitting system, which you've heard me talk about quite a bit, is finally gone live in the building department. This system, which is long overdue, offers residents and businesses one point of entry to interact with all permitting departments. It allows users to upload documents, track permit status through an online portal, and it will cut out many of the challenges residents face when dealing with multiple departments. Right now, only our building department is live while we test the system and work out the kinks. But soon, conservation, planning and zoning, engineering, health, sewer, and the fire marshal's offices will all be online. I stated in my first State of the Town that I plan to impanel a charter revision commission, which the Board of Selectmen established this last year, to review our town's governing document and consider changes to the way our town government operates that may be helpful for future generations. I look forward to the Commission's recommendations that will come before the Board of Selectmen this year. I care deeply about our community and the feedback that I receive from our elected officials, our appointed officials, but most importantly, the feedback I receive from our residents every single day has been helpful to me as I've had to make very difficult decisions required to lead our town over the last few years. I am just as committed as I was the day I raised my hand and swore an oath to serve our community. And I am looking forward to a new year filled with hope and promise for Fairfield. God bless you, and God bless the great town of Fairfield. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam First Selectwoman, and thank you for coming before us tonight to share everything that's been going on for the last year in the town.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the time.
Okay, folks, we're on to item number 4, which is the Affordable Housing Committee report, which we heard last week in committee. And we'll go to item number 5, which is to consider and act upon the minutes of the regular monthly meeting held on January 24th, 2022. Can I have a motion to approve? Representative Wackerman, followed by Representative Siebert. Are there any comments or changes that need to be made? Seeing none, all those in favor, turn your mics on. Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's going to end at some point, right? Abstentions? Okay, thank you very much. That item passes unanimously. Let's go to item number 6, to consider and act upon the following appointment to the Solid Waste and Recycle Commission as recommended by the Board of Selectmen. Kirsten M. Itella, Democrat, 90 South Pine Creek Road, term November 2018 to 2022, to fill vacancy created by resignation of Guy Galistine. Do I have a motion? Representative Schwartz, followed by Representative Barham. Sorry, I only can see the first screen here. Is there any more conversation about this appointment? Okay, seeing none, turn your mics on. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. That motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. She is not here tonight because we asked her, told her that she did not have to come back. Okay, item number 7. And just as a reminder, please stay on camera, and if you want to speak, put your name in the chat, or you want to have a question, please do that and have your camera and microphone on when you do speak. To consider and act upon the following resolution recommended by the first selectwoman, resolved that a certain agreement negotiated by and between the town of Fairfield and the Communications Workers of America, AFL-CIO ECC, concerning conditions of employment for the period commencing July 1, 2019 and ending June 30, 2023, be and hereby is approved. Do I have a motion? Representative Burns, seconded by Representative Galdenzi. Thank you. I'll open up to the floor for any questions or comments. Is there anybody that would like to ask a question? It looks like we got enough last week during our committee meetings, so I will open it up to public comment. If there is anybody on, I do not know if there is or not. Mr. Kelly, I don't see anybody. Okay, I'll bring it back to the board. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstentions? That motion is unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody. All right, item number 8 is to hear, consider, and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Board of Finance. Resolved that the bond resolution entitled a resolution appropriating $508,445 for the cost of a non-recurring capital project and authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, consisting of 3 pages to, and is hereby approved. A motion? Representative Kelly, seconded by Representative Spolier. I will open the floor to discussion on these bonds. This bond entails the underwater bridge inspection and repairs of $150,000. Does anybody have any further questions for that item? Okay. And the second item is the self-contained breathing apparatus, CSBA, for $358,445. Are there any questions or concerns there? Everybody's quiet tonight. Okay, any comments from the public? I think there's any public on, unfortunately. So we will take that back to the body for the vote. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, that motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, guys, tonight.
You're welcome.
Okay, item number 9 is to hear, consider, and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Board of Finance. Resolved that the board that the bond appropriation entitled a resolution appropriating $3,717,899 for the costs of certain non-recurring capital projects and authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, consisting of 3 pages, which was in the backup. Be and hereby is approved. Can I have a motion to approve? Representative Siebert, seconded by Representative Zesma. Do I have any questions or comments on this bonding? We will start first. Mr. Bishop, I believe you were with us tonight. We did not hear from you last week at the committee meetings concerning the Pine Creek McCleary Tidegate repair or the Riverside Creek Tidegate repair, and I think several of the body wanted to hear from you. So the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Really quick, this is for, as you explained, the Tidegate replacement for Pine Creek, McLeavy Tidegate, and Riverside Creek Tidegate. Both are very similar, come to their end of their life, have 2 main values, one with the ecological value of allowing salt water to interact with fresh water in both tidal marshes, as well as flood control. Both currently corrugated metal, and like I said, have come to the end of their lifetime and starting to fail. So these had come up in the past and prior to my hiring, and they are currently due for replacement. So they are on the point of replacement. So very similar. Happy to take any questions.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Bishop. I see Representative Wackerman has a question for you.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Through you to Mr. Bishop. For the Riverside Drive Tidegate, will the replacement of it have any effect in, I'll go backwards. So during Sandy, the water somewhat overtopped Riverside Drive. Will the new Tidegate have any effect on preventing that being higher up or raising the road at all or anything like that?
Yeah, I think it will be more effective. And one thing that we're going to be looking at is the integrity of the dike, especially in the corner on the Riverside Drive side. Mm-hmm. I've heard that there might be compromised based on some previous dye tests. So I think a replacement will address that, and it will be more effective just because it's old failing design.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions on these 2 items? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Bishop. We appreciate your input. Thank you, Representative Wackerman, for your question. We'll move next to the item. It's under engineering, which is to increase resiliency, AC open space, Jennings Beach design, $250,000. Any questions about that? Comments? Okay. And the rest, number 4 is Parks Department, Lake Mohegan restoration from storm Ida damage, $500,000 in this bonding request. Do I have a question? I see Representative Barris has a comment. The floor is yours, sir.
So I'm uneasy about this particular.
Introduce yourself, Steve, please.
Excuse me, I bet. Steve Barrett, District 6. My apologies. I'm uneasy about this a little bit because of the timing and the what seems like to be a rushed nature of this. the storm happened in September. This is probably something I would have liked to hear more about in like October, November, December, but here we are basically in March. We want to open this thing by May, by Memorial Day. And I'm not sure, exactly all the details of this, and I'd hate to have this be a rush job. Now, my, question to myself is, do I vote against this? And then all of a sudden, people on this board will run to the papers telling me that I'm against swimming, but it's nothing farther from the truth. I would say that I'm against unsafe swimming. And this particular swimming area is one that's very complex, probably the most complex swimming area of all the town beaches. And if this is rushed, if this is not done well, it will compromise the safety of that particular beach area. So I will vote for this, but I just hope that the time will be taken for this job to be done right, and that it will be restored to the original situation that was there in terms of swimming area in relation to drop off, and that it's not just rushed for the sake of getting it done by Memorial Day. Thank you.
Mark, you're muted.
Sorry about that, guys. Thank you, Representative Barris. Mr. Calabrese, are you on the line tonight?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Did you want to make any comments on that, or?
Well, I mean, I would just reiterate that, all the information that we have currently is in the backup documents. I've reiterated to the Board of Selectmen, to the Board of Finance, to the committee meetings at the RTM. We're working with FEMA. We are working, plan to work with a marine engineer on getting these, getting the work done and completed in a timely fashion. If it gets, our goal is Memorial Day, like I've stated from the beginning. If we can get it done by Memorial Day safely, we will. If we can't, we won't. The lake will remain closed. I believe that, Steve, you've been around for 30 plus years, and I've been here quite a while too. I can tell you that I'm the only director, to my knowledge, that has kept that lake locked in the off season since it hasn't been guarded. So yeah, safety comes first as far as I'm concerned. So we will not open that lake. Not safe. End of story.
Thank you, Mr. Calabrese. Any other comments from the body on that item? Okay, next up is, again, Parks and Rec is the tennis center light replacement for $100,000. Any comments? See any? Item number 6 was post-tension tennis courts at Dwight, $550,000. Any comments? And then finally, the Jackie Durrell Pavilion upgrades for $103,000. Any comments? Questions?
Vote for it.
Okay, so the total on all those projects, that's $2,456,200. And we'll go to the Board of Education. There are 2 items there. The boiler replacement at Burr. Do we have any questions or comments on that item? $996,370. Representative Schwartz, I see you have a question. The floor is yours, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Hal Schwartz, District 2. Through you to, I'm hoping Mr. Papageorge is here. I sent an email earlier last week and was asking about a cost, whether anybody looked at a cost to just put the boilers on the ground and build around it, as opposed to spending $1 million now and putting them back where they were. I'm just wondering if there was some kind of any cost looked at, because if we're going to bond it, it might be smarter to bond a little bit more and do it right this time, since it wasn't done right the first time.
Is Mr. Papageorge here tonight?
I am on.
Thank you, sir. I know you missed the email this week, and that's okay. So we're having the meeting tonight, so you can follow up with Mr. Schwartz's question.
So the question about moving the boilers to the first floor is, the easy answer is there's really no room for the boilers on the first floor based on the way the building was designed and built. That being said, one of the things we are looking at, as I mentioned last week, was we're looking to upgrade these boilers from sectional boilers to high efficiency boilers, which will take up less room, be easier to work with, and also easier to replace as sections or parts, so that we won't have this difficult problem of moving them up or down to the second floor if we down the road when we do need to replace them again in the future. So
my question wasn't about replacing the boilers. It was as, to find a spot where the boilers would make sense now and do the work now. So the school building that'll be there for the next 25 or 30 years won't have a major problem. I just want to know if we're going to bond $1 million, what's the difference? We bond $1 million or we bond $2 million over 20 years if we don't have to move the boilers over the next 25 years. So I wasn't really, it wasn't a replacement. It was, is there a better way to do it? And would it be more cost effective to do that? That's really, I guess, where I was going.
Well, we believe that the more cost effective way to do it is to upgrade to the high efficiency boiler, so that there isn't a necessary reason to move them off of their current location, because they'd be able to be serviced and removed and replaced without going through the extra steps that we are currently facing with the current boilers.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Schwartz. Representative Graceffa.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Through you to Mr. Papageorge.
Introduce yourself, Andrew, please.
Oh, I apologize. Andrew Graceffa, representative from District 6.
Thank you.
Was there a reason why commissioning was not included for the boiler replacement in the overall pricing estimate?
When we first started putting the numbers together, we were looking at an in-kind service change out, and that's why it wasn't included. But we do believe, after speaking with the engineering company and a few other companies, that the cost analysis that we put together will cover will cover that as well when we do move up to the high efficiency boilers, based on the cost difference in the boilers. So okay. We do plan on commissioning them.
Okay, good. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Graceffa. Are there any other questions on or comments on the boilers? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the elevator modernization of FLHS, $265,329. Does anybody have a question on that item? Comment? Nothing? Okay, so the Board of Ed total bonding is $1,261,699. The total town and BOE non-recurring capital is $3,717,899. Do I have any comments from the public? Again, I don't see anybody here. I'll take it back to the board for the body for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
That's everybody, I think. Opposed? Abstentions? Yeah, that motion passes unanimously. Thank you to all the presenters who came back again tonight for us. We were missing quite a few people last week, so we appreciate you coming to see us twice. Next item is item number 10, to receive a report from the RTM Redistricting Committee. Chairman Schwartz, you ready to present, sir?
I am. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. The RTM Redistricting Committee met on February 8th. At that time, we had a presentation by the town registrars to show us what our task would be, explain some things to us and show us some stuff. The committee did come to a conclusion that we'd like to see the districts remain as 10. So that is the starting point where we're going to be. We made a schedule for in-person meetings, and in case all of you are not aware, we did meet in person on the 8th, which made life a whole lot easier for all of us. The meeting schedule is posted on the town hall website. We're getting together this Thursday. We might even start laying down some maps and drawing some lines to see where we end up and start those discussions. So I will take any questions anybody has. Best kind of night.
And
Thank you.
no questions. Okay.
No gerrymandering now.
Any questions or comments from the public who are not with us? I guess not. So we'll move on to item number 11, which kind of is directly related to item number 10, and at their request, to consider and act upon a motion to waive Rule 32 of the RTM Rules to Regulate regarding the redistricting ordinance. Can I have a motion to approve? Representative Iacono, seconded by a lot of people off camera. Am I on the wrong screen? Anybody?
Karen?
Representative Diaz, thank you. I'll open this up for discussion. We do need a 2/3 majority for this to pass.
Mr. Moderator, I would like to just give the body a reason why the committee decided to put this before it.
Is that Mr.
That's
Schwartz?
okay. It is.
Introduce
Okay,
yourself
thank you.
again, sir.
Hal Schwartz, Chairman, RTM Redistricting Committee.
you.
What we were hoping, as you all are probably well aware, that in order for us to get the polling places in the new districts, everything said and done, this would need to be done and voted on as an ordinance by the RTM in the April meeting. So we make the state deadline for primaries and the fall election. The RTM Rules to Regulate says this should go to LNA and then 2 after that. So that would already push us behind the date. I'm not telling you that we're going to get there. My hope is that we will. We're meeting 6 times between now and then. So we are hoping that this happens. But at the very least, if we don't get this done till the end of March, we have the rule in place where we only need the 1 meeting. So that's the reason for it. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Representative Schwartz. Does anybody have any questions or comments on this item? Very quiet group tonight. Okay. We'll go to the public, but I'm not expecting any comments. So we'll go back to the body, and I'll open up the floor to voting. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Yeah, that item carries unanimously. Okay. Item number 12, to consider and act upon any other matters presented to said meeting and which may be properly acted upon under the rules of the representative town meeting. Anything else tonight? Before I do make a motion to adjourn, Dave Kelly and FairTV, we do have the Democratic rebuttal to the state of the town. Please make sure we stay on, and anybody else who wants to stay on, please stay muted, and you can go off camera as well. But please stay on for the recording and viewing on FairTV of that by Majority Leader Zesma. All right, with that said, I will make a motion to adjourn. Representative Diaz, seconded by Representative Bastilli. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Think anybody's going to be opposed or abstain, so. All right, we're going to move into separate part of a new meeting, and we'll see everybody next month. Thank you very much for attending tonight.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
We'll meet in person next time, right?
Hopefully.
Nice.